Hi, it's Karina. Today I'm making baked apples. If you never made baked apples before or you forgot how good they are, you really should make it soon. It's simple, delicious, and as far as desserts go, it's practically healthy. I fill my apples with nuts, honey, sultanas, liqueur and butter, and all things nice, so it's very delicious and scrumptious. It's quite a simple dessert, I would say, but with a little effort you can make it quite special and good enough for entertaining. Besides, it's an apple season now, autumn, so there is really no excuse. Right, so we have here our absolutely gorgeous, normally those brown apples I love. I don't know why those were so sour, soury. So I've decided to cook them and jazz them up. Will be perfect for this recipe anyway. It's traditional mixed fruits, so sultanas, raisins, currants and mixed citrus peel. I was supposed to soak them in some sort of booze, but I didn't do that. So instead we just use this Amarone, which is almond liqueur. We will put it around and inside. Of course, ideally I would have soaked them. I also considered, instead of sultanas, use this sugared ginger or crystallized ginger, I think it's called. I call it sugared ginger, which is absolutely divine thing, and it would actually work very nicely. I would have chopped it and use it instead of sultanas, but I've decided not to do it. And cinnamon, walnuts, honey, usually for cooking purposes, and I use honey quite a lot in my meat things and stuff like that. I buy kind of cheap basic honey, and I keep nice fancy honey just for actual eating. I don't have nutmeg, unfortunately. But I'm going to use a cardamom, which I will crush a little bit in here, and butter, and also those cinnamon sticks, which I will put around just for a fuss, so everything looks kind of appetizing. We don't want too large a hole, obviously. The star of the show at the end of the day is the actual apple rather than sultanas and the rest of it. Perhaps as a dessert it doesn't sound very exciting, maybe it's not for the very grand occasions, but definitely great for family gatherings. As always, little tweaks in a recipe, the way you present things, can make even simple things quite special and good enough for entertaining. So be patient, try not to you know, go all the way through. I mean, it's not a big deal obviously if it goes all the way through, but it would be kind of nicer, if not the end of the world obviously, if you go all the way through. With the knife, with this peeler, we will do it. Done. 120, so it's like 50 grams we measured sultanas and 70 grams walnuts. Rough crumbs, I would say. So mix together our goodies. We will add cinnamon, give it a good mix. Cardamom, I just love cardamom, and I will crush those pods. So you can get those little black seeds, you see, and I don't want those the actual pods of it. Although these green pods kind of look also kind of appetizing, but they are not edible really. I could have left them as well, but I'll take them off Here we have those seeds, which I will crush a little bit and I'll put them around the apples. Cardamom is very nice, fine flavor. I love it. Feels very satisfying. It smells amazing. We just fill them with our mix of cinnamon, mixed dry fruit and nuts. So 5 large apples, easy to remember. 50 grams of sultanas, 70 grams of nuts. Good teaspoon of liqueur. Or maybe actually think the apples are quite large. 2 teaspoons into each. I have no idea, I'm not a big drinker. Is it too much? Going to be too much. And honey now. And butter. This is all what's left to do. So honey, again, I'll put individually. So like big teaspoon of honey. Ooh. Honey will seep in gradually. Because apples are quite tart, but don't forget we put this very sweet mixed fruit. So we don't want it to be overly sweet. Right, and finally butter. Teaspoon on each apple. And I think we had plenty of Amarone, so no more. And maybe a few cardamom pods around, just whole, right? Just for the prettiness. Scatter them around like that. And in the oven it goes. Right, so to speed things up, we're putting a boiling water around. So a little bit of water around, I'll show you, not much. And seeing the apples are so big, I think I will cover them with foil as well, at least for half time. We smear them with butter a little bit, so they will be crispy. I should have melted the butter, but as always, I am sloppy, a bit sloppy. Right, extra spoon of honey around for good luck. Our cinnamon sticks were positioned at the end. They are more like for prettiness. Covering it more or less, and there, we're ready to go to the oven. Honey. Forgot to add cardamom, so I took apples out now. I might as well baste them with cooking juices too. Continuing next day, a bit of a disaster. My apples were yesterday because I don't think I should have covered them with foil, or maybe I left them in the oven for too long. So actually they don't look presentable at all. Although I must say they are absolutely divine. It's like apple pie with no crust. The only thing is missing from the rich apple pie taste is the actual pastry. I did warm this one up, but in the morning I had them cold. When you warm them up, they're nicer because it's so much butter there. So we try now to make a second batch a bit nicer. Just honestly, I've got to finish every last bit of that. Truly divine. So second attempt, I have the same apples. I'm going to fill them today instead of walnuts with almonds, which would go nicely with my almond di Saronno, not Amarone. Di Saronno liqueur I'm using here. So the same dry fruit. I soaked it in this Di Saronno liqueur for good 3 hours. They're gonna be plumper. And I've melted a butter as well to smear it on top of my apples. I always have handy those ground almonds. I love them very much. I use them for biscottis, which is my almond biscuit. So I'll put honey first. 1 good teaspoon into each apple. You know, we'll all be in a situation when we need to skip supper. grab a couple of apples, haphazardly chop those apples, plonk them in a saucepan, maybe a couple of tablespoons of water, no more. Cover with the lid and on low heat let them cook. Either mash them or just eat them rough as they are. Maybe add a little bit of cinnamon or mixed spice, cardamom, something like that as well. Maybe with a spoon of yogurt. It does help to not to snack in the evening. I'm going to make a bit more of that mix for my fourth apple. Cranberries, raisins and sultanas, like that. That's quite gorgeous. So a little bit more of almonds. Oh my god, it's gonna taste absolutely heavenly. I am addicted to this taste. If you like apple pie, but then who doesn't? Who doesn't? So I've packed it quite tightly. The goodies inside my apple, and I add 1 teaspoon here. Oh, it's gonna be very rich and moreish. So all what is left to do, yesterday I've put a teaspoon of butter on each. I put half a teaspoon today. I'll top everything with half a teaspoon of butter on top of our nuts and things. And today I've actually melted butter, it's gone solid again. So no need to cover all apple in butter because obviously we're gonna put some water. I have a mix here for cloves and cardamom. I keep it in a separate jar because sometimes I made a tea out of that for myself. I quite like the taste with a little bit of milk. So I put cloves as they are around, just throw them around. They're not gonna be eaten, but they kind of make the sauce. So we're aiming obviously to create a lovely sauce around our apples. They kind of make sauce look pretty, and the cardamoms cardamom pods I will lightly crush, just like that, kind of scatter that around the apples. We're also going to put some vanilla syrup around, going full Monty, cardamom, cloves, vanilla, amaretto, cinnamon. We forgot cinnamon. We totally forgot cinnamon. That's the main spice for our apples, which we should have put really inside. It's too late now, but we will just take a good pinch and just sort of dust them with cinnamon at least. Right, so water is crucial to cook them. We don't want much, but it will sort of create a sauce which we're gonna drizzle on top of our apples. Like an inch or so of water. And cinnamon sticks here as well. No foil this time. 180 degrees. Right, they look beautiful. Let's check. Quite soft, but not falling apart. Sauce, I can actually reduce it a little bit to make it more syrupy.